Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Tacoma. Let's begin. Let there be peace in my mind. Let there be peace in the earth. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, 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 Peace inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my mind, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti Peace inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my mind, God and only God I live to see. Peace inside my mind, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my mind, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om Shanti, Peace inside my heart, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside my heart, God and only God I live to see. Peace inside the earth, God and only God is moving me. Peace inside the earth, God and only God I live to see. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om. 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 Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti,
Thank you. That was absolutely gorgeous. Love that song. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Hello and welcome to Unity of Tacoma. My name is Reverend Lori Erwin Johnson, and I am your spiritual leader for today. And if this is your first time watching, we're so glad to have you. And if you visited before, we're so glad to have you back. You're always welcome here at Unity of Tacoma. You can check out our website anytime you need us at unityoftacoma.org, and you can check out all of the messages and the meditations and the prayers that we have available for you online all the time. And so Unity of Tacoma is always there for you. I would like to introduce our musical guest. We have the Zebas Trio. We usually have a quartet, the whole group. We have Becky, Kurt, and Linda here with us today. We are missing Matt. Matt is unavailable today, but we do send our love and support and miss his presence, but he's always with us in consciousness, so we're so glad that you're all here, and we're so happy to have you. You always surprise the most beautiful music, and I thank you for being here. Today is our first Sunday in Faith in Action, and if you've never been part of Faith in Action before, we'll be covering a book for the next 7 weeks, and our book this time is Thich Nhat Hanh's book, Silence, The Power of Quiet in a World Full of Noise. And you can see behind me that there is this beautiful mural that Gabby and Kayla had painted for us. And you can see this wonderful, beautiful white lotus right here that I believe this was Victoria that did the white one today. So thank you for all your beautiful, wonderful support and all of the artistic ability to be able to make Faith in Action a wonderful experience. And today is day 1. So that is a wonderful and beautiful thing. And thank you for all of your artistic support. If you are a part of the book study, if you are following along with the book each Sunday, the next couple of weeks, we are focusing on chapter 1 today. A little later during the announcements, I will let you know about the dates and times of study groups that will be going on starting this week. So hang on till the very end so we can find out where we can put you in a book study starting this week. So let us start this day, after we've got all this excitement going on with Faith in Action. Let's settle for just a moment and pray. I got prayer inspiration today from the Daily Word from October 25th of 2020. And you know that was just almost a year ago, and there was so much going on at that time. And I thought this was really appropriate as a kind of an anniversary of what we've been dealing with the last couple of years now. And the prayer is called Listen. So let us pray. During the course of a busy day, I may hear all kinds of things: conversations, music, sounds, traffic noise, even my constant self-talk. Sometimes all that I'm hearing may numb me to the more inspirational act of listening. As I listen, I become aware of the voice of Spirit. It's comforting. Its guidance presence, it helps me feel like I'm having a homecoming. As I settle into a tranquil environment and begin to relax my body and mind, I create a welcoming space for listening to the assuring, still small voice of Spirit. It's discernible as my inner knowing, as I breathe deep and I rest in this space, it brings me peace. I go about my day listening attentively for the voice of Spirit expressing through all the people in my life. And I accept this as truth and bring this into my life. And so it is. Amen. We have another wonderful song from our trio today. And so take it away.
Thanks, Lori. I wanted to briefly talk about this chant. This is a chant based on a Hindu phrase, Om Namah Shivaya. And each of those syllables have its own meaning. I'll take a tiny moment and say the Om, as you know, is the universal sound symbol. So Om Na is Lord's concealing grace, or an earth element. Ma, the world. Shiva is a fire element, so Shiva is also the revealing grace, an air element, and Ya is the soul, or Akasha. So Shiva, the destroyer, Shiva, the transformer, is part of a 3-part Hindu god. So we see the creator, the preserver, and the transformer. Om Namah Shivaya, it's a call and response, so we'll sing, and please sing along with us at home.
Wow. I don't have to say much more about the Om symbol and what that means. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. Absolutely appropriate. So each week during Faith in Action, we will have a theme. And today's theme includes a color, a symbol, and an affirmation that represents the chapter within the book that we are in that week. And this week, our color theme is white. And you can see all of us, myself and the musicians, we are all in white, sharing the consciousness of white. And know that wherever you are, if you are wearing white, you are also sharing the consciousness with us, wherever you are. Our symbol today is Om. And I have a wonderful reading by Amit Ray that explains what the Om symbol means. Om is not just a sound or vibration. It is not just a symbol. It is the entire cosmos. Whatever we can see, touch, hear, and feel. And moreover, it is all that it is within our perception and all that is beyond our perception. It is the core of our very existence. If you think of Om only as a sound, a technique, or a symbol of the divine, you will miss it altogether. Om is the mysterious cosmic energy that is the substratum of all the things and all the beings of the entire universe. It is an eternal song of the divine. It is continuously resounding in silence on the background of everything that exists. And our affirmation today, and you'll see here next week, we will have everyone's lotus on the pond, just like this, and I'm sure we'll have it pretty full. And the affirmation today is God is sound. The creator of the cosmos is sound. Everything begins with the sound. I am the divine sound of being. And that's what the little card says. So we'll put your name on it if you are interested in having your name on the affirmation card and to include it onto our beautiful pond. Please contact me. My email is Lori, Lori, at unityoftacoma.org, and we'd be happy to include your name. With that, let's go into our summary and our discussion about the book by Thich Nhat Hanh. And the first part of this book is called Fear of Silence. Now, when I was a teenager, my grandmother, she moved in down the street from California, where she was living with my grandfather before he passed, and then she moved to Washington State to be with her family here. Now, if you know me, you know that I lived on a block that all of my relatives lived on the same block with me, so I had the whole entire street was filled up from my relatives. And when she came, she just moved into a little house right next to my cousin's house that was available. So when she moved in, she was moving in from pretty much being really solitary in California to coming here to being with all of us family. And you could visit my grandmother. No matter what time of day you went to her house, her television was always on. From the time she got up in the morning until the time she went to bed, she had her television on. Even when people were visiting, it was on in the background. She had quite a schedule for her TV watching habit. She started in the morning with the game shows like Price is Right, and then 11 o'clock she would start the soap operas, and they would go until 3, and then she had her lunch in between there. And then after that, there was the talk shows at the time. It was Phil Donahue, and then also Mike Douglas was a little bit before that. So that was her time frame. After that, it was getting close to dinner, but the news was on. And so she would have the news on for 2 hours. Then she would go back to primetime TV. And for those of you who are younger and don't know what primetime TV is, that is the time between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. that all of the good shows were on. Now you don't have that with Netflix. You can watch good shows whenever you want. But primetime TV, she would have all of her special shows every week that she would watch between that time period. And before bed, it was news again, and then Johnny Carson before she went to sleep. So that was like 12:30. So all day long, no matter what time, that woman had the television on. So one time when I got a little older, I asked her, I said, Grandma, I said, why do you have the television on all the time? And she kind of took a moment, and she in a really kind of a sad voice, she said, it keeps me company. When it's quiet, I feel really lonely. The quiet reminded her of herself, reminded her of things that she wanted to ignore, and those things that made her unhappy. Thich Nhat Hanh said in his book he believed that many of us are afraid of the silence. We're always taking in something, always, whether it be from a text message on your phone, or you're in your email, or you're answering your phone, or, I mean, we have phones with us all the time, constant stimulation, constant connection with people. And although we have all this constant connection with people, we are not happy. And if we're supposed to be happy and connected, and this is how we're supposed to do it, why aren't we happy? Why is it that we're really struggling? Having a lot of stimuli helps us to distract ourselves from what we're feeling. When we are in the silence, we have to be present with ourselves. We have to be aware of who we are. And there are several, Thich Nhat Hanh talks about in the book, there are several different types of way we consume our distractions and the things that we bring into our lives. And he says that there are 4 of them that are the major categories: edible foods, sensory foods, our volition or our purpose, and our consciousness. All of these foods can be both healthy and unhealthy, nourishing or toxic, depending on what we consume, how much we consume, and if we're aware of how much and what we're doing with that consumption. Mindful awareness, when we are aware of what's going into our bodies, whatever that is, it is like a protective barrier. It protects us from absorbing all of that negativity that could come into our lives and allows us to be more aware of what's coming in. He talks about edible foods a little bit in the book. He talks about how junk food can make us feel tired and crabby. My son walked into my house yesterday, and my youngest son is 25 years old, and he walked in. He moved down the street from us just last week, so now he's always walking into my house after not being there for a couple of years. And he just walks in my house, and he comes into the pantry, he opens up the door, and he looks on the door, and because our pantry door, it has little shelves on the inside of the door. And he opens it up, and he says, Mom, where are the Pop-Tarts? And I said, I don't buy Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts don't nourish me. But he goes, but Grandma always had Pop-Tarts. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but I don't have Pop-Tarts, okay? So if you want Pop-Tarts, then you have to get them, and you can put them in my cabinet. But I remember as a kid, and he's one of those kids that didn't like his vegetables, didn't like his fruit, he just loved to eat junk food, but it always made him crabby, and it always made him jittery. It made him hard to deal with, and it only gave him a momentary satisfaction. And now if he were to have more nourishing foods, he does like apples, so after he would eat something more nourishing, then he would feel more energetic and healthy, and of course he'd be more nourished. But oftentimes, when we are lonely and we're scared, or if they're just troubled by something, food becomes the way that we distract ourselves from our emotions, distract us from what we're thinking or what we're dealing with. And we're filling up that void that we feel that's within inside of us. We are using this food to satisfy us in some way, to fill that need. Now, in addition to edible food, Thich Nhat Hanh says there is sensory food. And of course, sensory food are those things that come from our mind or from our bodies, things that we see and smell and hear and touch and taste, of course, and also things that we take in with our minds, not just our senses, but just the consciousness, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. I recently read an article, and just this week actually, about the quietest room in the world. And you may have heard about it, maybe you haven't. It's located at the Orfield Laboratories in Minnesota. And the longest anyone has been able to sit in that room is 45 minutes. According to the reports, once you're in that room, the only thing that you can hear is the sound of your own heartbeat, or the other internal sounds of your organs, so maybe your digestive sounds and things like that. That's the only thing you can hear. After 30 minutes of being in that room, you have to have a chair because you become so disoriented. You don't know where you are in space and time. Our ears and our hearing, it's very important to our ability to walk and to stand upright, because unconsciously we hear the cues from our environment of where we are, our proprioception of where we are in our space and time. And we feel disoriented and off if we use our ears to navigate. For someone who does not have hearing, their brains have compensated for that and have other cues. But when your hearing is part of your experience, when you are deprived of that, then your brain starts to try to fill in those blanks. Also, you can begin to hallucinate. You can start to see things that are not there, because it's called faulty source monitoring. When the brain starts to figure out that you have this lack of sense that you usually have, and then it's going to fill in that space with something else. So hallucinations, audio, visual, those things start to come into your experience, and no one has been able to be in that room for longer than 45 minutes. You see, our senses are really important, but they also can become detrimental when they're not working properly. Noise also falls into the category of sensory food, and that noise could be things like entertainment that you hear on the TV, things that you have in the background, like my grandmother. You can have, maybe you can have music on the background. That can be noisy. It just depends on your focus. Is it something that's nurturing you, or is it something that's distracting you? At a basic level, noise is really important for our survival. So when we don't have it, when we take away the noise and it becomes very, very quiet, then our instincts kick in. We're trying to hear where there might be a threat. We're trying to see if there's something out there. And the noise then becomes a distraction and keeps us away from being in that heightened experience. So having the music on in the background, having the TV on, distracts us from that anxiety that we may feel in the silence. Also, what I said before is what we read and what we absorb also can affect our bodies and our minds, and it can be part of the consumption that comes in, that we use as a distraction. It does often keep us connected and informed when you open up your Facebook feed and you want to see what's going on with your friends and your family, or when you're going on to the news channel and you're going to pick it up and you're going to start listening to what's going on. But you need to be aware, very, very aware of what it is you're focusing on, because that consumption, that even on an unconscious level, it can keep us occupied in a space of negativity. It can be a space of killing time and filling up that empty void that's in our lives, but it also can be an escape. So we need to be very, very careful about that that stuff that we are consuming, the noise that we bring into our lives, the things that we read, the things that we pay attention to, because those distractions can cause discomfort and disease in your body. Thich Nhat Hanh says we are what we feel and perceive. If we are angry, we are the anger. If we are in love, we are the love. If we look at a snowy mountain peak, we are the mountain. While dreaming, we are the dream. Our senses, he says, are windows to the outside world. Many of us leave our windows wide open and allow whatever is in the environment to come through and come into and invade our space, to make our suffering that we already try to avoid more troublesome in the long run. We can always make a choice to protect the peace that we have within our lives. It doesn't mean that we're shutting out everything in our environment. It doesn't mean that we're not going to listen to music anymore, or we're not going to watch TV anymore, or we're not going to enjoy that movie anymore. We're just going to be more focused on what it is that we want to have in our environment, what we want to have in our lives. And when we look outside, then we look on it with the light of awareness. What is it that's out there that I want to be part of my life? Instead of just being an unconscious being, consuming all this information, you want to be very aware. And this is very, very important to having this peaceful, harmonious life that you would really like to have. Another thing that we consume and that is part of our lives is what he calls volition. And volition is our primary intention and our motivation. And it feeds us, and it gives us purpose. And it also can become a point where we have noise in our lives again. It can also be part of one of those things that distracts us. And it's rare that we really pay attention to what we really want in our lives. What is it that you desire? It's something that all of the noise and all of the things keeps us from really wanting to move forward in a way that's good for us instead of just unconsciously moving through the world. We act, but we're not acting from a place of intention. And so he's saying that our purpose in life is really important. And whenever we act, we do so intentional. We want to, wherever we go, whatever we're doing, whether it's our work or our play or our chores or whatever it is, whether you're calling a friend or you're going on a walk or you're going to work, you want to do that with intention. A motivation that gets us moving in the direction that's positive for us. We don't want to allow those windows to be wide open and to penetrate our entire body with all that negativity. Moving through the world with intention and purpose, knowing what our heart's desire is. We need to ask ourselves, am I doing what I most want to be doing with my life? Do I even know what that is? This is something that we need to ask ourselves every day when you get up. Am I doing what I want to do in my life? Am I clear about what it is I want to do? The noise is always around us, trying to distract us from what we should be doing. And it drowns out that still small voice inside of us that keeps us moving forward in the direction that is nourishing. Volition is very powerful and has a tremendous amount of energy. You need to be careful, because when you are not mindful of your volition, of your purpose, it can take you in the wrong direction. It will move you without your knowledge. So being aware, being mindful of where you're going is extremely important when you're trying to bring in nourishing things within your world. Thich Nhat Hanh says, to fully experience this life as a human being, we all need to connect with our desire to realize something larger than our individual selves. This can be motivation enough to change our ways so we can find relief from the noise that fills our heads. So you can spend your entire life listening to the internal and external messages that come in and out of our experience. And we could never know our deepest desires unless we're very intentional about it. When we have space to be silent and to deeply listen, this is when we start to realize and start to know what it is that we really want from ourselves. We can bring about love and compassion into our lives instead of the negativity that we could have. We could be creative and transformative. Whatever your job, whether you are bagging groceries or flipping burgers or teaching children, or you're the CEO of a major company, if you have a really strong, clear understanding of your intention and your purpose and your volition, then you can be a powerful source of energy and joy in life. instead of allowing that negativity to come through you in an unconscious way. Thich Nhat Hanh says that we go on a sensory fast. We are cutting off the noise from outside of ourselves. And our individual consciousness is something that is still with us. Whether we shut off the outside world or not, we still have to deal with our own consciousness. When we pay attention to our own consciousness, we are either consuming, just like we're consuming from our environment in our sensory world, we are either consuming negative consciousness, thoughts, or we're consuming positive, wonderful, uplifting thoughts. When we pay attention to those negative, cruel, and angry thoughts towards ourselves and other people, it begins to replay in our minds, and it becomes like a track that we continue to hear in ourselves. And that becomes a very toxic consciousness. But if we do the flip side and we are to focus on the beauty and the love and the compassion and the kindness that's in this world, then we are consuming healthy things from our minds, and then we are able to have a healthy consciousness. We all have the capacity to love. We all have the capacity to forgive. And we can understand and be compassionate of our fellow human beings. When we pay attention to these attributes, when we are in our own consciousness and we know that we have the choice to be positive or negative, we can have nourishing, joyful experiences in our lives. And we can use the silence, the sound of our own being to be part of this wonderful, beautiful life that's around us, instead of having to obsess and to worry and be in despair and be lonely. Because if we consume sensory foods that are negative, we're going to get negativity. If we consume sensory foods that are positive, we're going to get positive experience. You want to make sure that you stay away from those negative things that can cause this in your life. You can pull up the Facebook, but you can choose to see a puppy instead of watching what your friend is complaining about in politics, for example, or in just some other argument that's going on. You can stay away from that. And if you stay away from that, then you are bringing about nourishing, you're consuming nourishing things in your life, bringing about something that's beautiful instead of something that's negative. And the thing about negative things, when you start worrying about something and you start focusing on something negative, even if you stop doing it, let's say that you get all done and you're like, okay, I'm just going to let that go. The negativity continues to stick with you, sometimes for a couple of hours, maybe even a couple of days, possibly even a couple of weeks. So be very mindful. Be aware. Where is your focus? Where is your consciousness? Focus on watering those positive seeds instead of those negative ones. Because if you're only watering those positive seeds, you're only going to get positive seeds. Watering negative seeds, you're going to get negative seeds. So watch your mind, watch your thoughts. Where is that going? And in addition to our individual consciousness, we also have a collective consciousness. And our individual consciousnesses, is that even a word? Consciousnesses, more than one, contains all the elements of the collective consciousness. And like individual consciousness, we can be part of negativity, like an angry mob, or just a hate group, or being part of a judgmental organization. You can stay away from all that. A collective consciousness can be used in a positive way. You can have people who are nourishing your presence, people who are watering the seeds of love and understanding. If you bring yourself into a quieter space, a peaceful physical space when you are with other people, and you are aware of what's coming to you from those people, you can begin to focus on the kindness, the love, the compassion, and that all the negativity will just fall away. You'll be able to just focus on that love that you're feeling, and you can bring about that space of joy in life. When my grandmother, she had the television on the whole time when she first got here, I felt really sad for her because I know what she was missing in her life. She was missing connection with other people. And she didn't know how to do that. She had been with her husband so many years, they had been living alone. She lost the ability to connect. And in order for her to connect with others and get in with that space of consuming the positive energy from other people and from her environment. She was in this loop of negativity, of this sadness that she wanted to get out of. She also wasn't okay with being herself. She hadn't had an opportunity in so many years to be able to just to be her without her husband or her family, and she needed to really get to know herself again and get into that individual consciousness to try to really figure out, what is my purpose here? Why am I here? And once she started getting settled while she was here, then she started to branch out. She reached out to people and she started playing board games and cards with the people in the neighborhood and then friends that she'd met here. And so she did blossom when she got here, but at first, she was afraid of the silence. The power of the silence was keeping her from wanting to pay attention to what she really needed to pay attention in order to have some kind of growth and joy in her life. And I'm glad she was able to find that before she passed. And as we go through the book further with Thich Nhat Hanh, he will provide so much more insight on how we get past our constant noise and the ability to push that all away and to be able to enjoy the silence and the peace that comes from being silent. In a few minutes, we're going to go through a meditation that's going to guide us through that, a meditation that he wrote that's in the book. But first, we're going to have a wonderful song by the Zebas Trio again. And I thank you for listening. And I will be right back with meditation.
In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there's release from a world filled with chaos and noise. I awake to these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find myself. In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there's release from a world filled with chaos and noise. I awake to these precious moments, and I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence, I find God. I find God. I find myself.
That was awesome. Can we keep him? Thank you so much. That was beautiful and absolutely perfect. I love when Spirit comes in. I'm kind of tearing up right now. I love when Spirit comes in and the right song at the right time. Thank you so much. That was absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Now we're going to go into meditation. We're going to go into meditation on mindfulness. And this is a meditation that is in the book, if you have the book. It's one on page number 43, written by Thich Nhat Hanh. And we go into meditation, he recommends that you practice this following exercise in a quiet space. You can do this while you're walking, or you can do it while you're sitting down, but you want to be upright, in an upright position. You can be upright and relaxed in a sitting position with your legs crossed, or you can be in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. So as we get into meditation, I'd like you to get comfortable, take a deep breath, let it out. Allow yourself to just get into this space of deep silence. And as you breathe, just allow all of your muscles to get quiet, to get still, to get relaxed and softened. And the only thing you can hear right now is my voice and your breath. And with each breath, as I go through this meditation, say the first line of the meditation silently to yourself. And with the out-breath, say the second line. For example, I will tell you it in advance. When I say breathe in, I know I am breathing. That's when you inhale. And I say breathe out, I know I'm breathing out. That's when you breathe out. And I'm going to go through this meditation twice. We're going to cycle through it. So get into a space of comfort, whatever that is for you, upright, shoulders back, and let us meditate. Breathe in. Know I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I know I am breathing out. Breathing in. My breath grows deep. Breathing out. My breath grows slow. Breathing in. I'm aware of my body. Breathing out. I calm my body. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment. Breathing out, I enjoyed that present moment. Starting again. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. Breathing in, my breath grows deep. Breathing out, my breathing grows slow. Breathing in, I am aware of my body. Breathing out, I calm my body. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment. Breathing out, I enjoy that present moment. Bring your breathing back to a normal pace. Just pay attention to that for just a moment as you sit in the silence, being mindful of your breath coming in and out, being aware of where you are. As we end this meditation, you want to bring your awareness back into your space, taking it away from your breath, becoming aware of your environment, aware of your body in space and time. Take a deep breath in and let it out. One more deep breath in and let it out. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes and bring your awareness back into this space as we have another wonderful song from the Zebas Trio.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace, there is peace, there is peace.
Thank you. We have come to the portion of our service where we open our hearts to give. All donations that we receive here at Unity of Tacoma support the missions and various outreach programs that we have here. There are 3 ways you can give. You can go to our website at www.unityoftacoma.org/donate to give via PayPal. You can donate through Zelle using our telephone number 253-576-3225. You can mail a check to Unity of Tacoma, P.O. Box 112289, Tacoma, Washington 98411. And as we prepare to give, I would like you to hold the intention of prosperity within your hands, visualizing the circulation of abundance flowing through you and as you. Jesus taught us in Luke 6:38, Give and you will receive. You will be given much, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It will spill into your lap. The way you give to others is the way God will give back to you. And as you visualize holding your gift within your hand, please repeat after me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful for my blessings today, and I am grateful in every way. And so it is. Amen. May the blessings of your gift bring so many more blessings back to you. We thank you for your love and support of Unity of Tacoma. We're so glad you're with us. We do have a couple of announcements today. Join us next Sunday, October 10th, and during our live stream, we will continue with Thich Nhat Hanh's book, Silence, and we'll be in chapter 2 of the book. So please come back to hear what more he has to say in chapter 2. Our theme color next week is green, and our symbol is the Bodhi tree. So please, if you can, wear the color green and just be prepared wherever you are to celebrate with us, because our consciousness is shared no matter where we are. We will have study groups based on this book that start this week, and we'll have the following dates. Wednesday, October 6th at 4 p.m. with Linda. Thursday, October 7th at 6:30 p.m. with me. And Friday, October 8th at 6:30 p.m. with Marcia. So these are all available to you if you are interested in participating in a book study and want to be part of it. We're going to be doing it online on Zoom, so no matter where you are, you can participate. You can email me at lori@unityoftacoma.org. That's Lori, Lori, at unityoftacoma.org, and I will help you get signed up for the group and the day that you would like to be with. So I will end this wonderful service with the benediction. Let's go out this week and with a plan to be mindful of our consumption. What is it that we are paying attention to? What are we putting into our bodies? Are we separating the junk food from the nourishing food? Are we feeding our body temples with the things that are toxic or things that are supportive? We will not allow the noise to distract us. Instead, we will allow our senses to enliven us. Remain intentional about who you are with and what you are telling yourself. Let us stay away from negativity in our consciousness, and within that consciousness, with all of the people we're with. And in this way, we invite a space of peace and joy in our lives. And so I thank you so much for being with us on this first day of Faith in Action. And join us again next week as we continue this exploration of the book that's so wonderful. Thank you for being here. We have one more song. We're going to do our peace song. And so take it away. You guys are wonderful. Thank you.
That was meant to be.
much. Have a wonderful week.